Now, it would be possible using concatenation, like we learned about before, we could produce an identical looking result to what I just did with this phony address for Paul McCartney. We could still do that with concatenation. So like we can create a string address, we can do address plus equals and just add some more to the string, and we've got an N for new line, and we can do an address plus equals and add the yellow submarine California. Here's a slightly different function. I don't know if we've seen this before, but you could do something like a function toString, which will then feed a number into the string, and then you can concatenate an N line. And so when we output this, it's going to look pretty much identical to the string stream, but what it does not do for us is it doesn't have the extra features and functionality that a string stream has, because the string stream does more than just, automatically concatenate things for you in an ever-growing string. It also has end of file functions, and it has various streaming and reader functions that allow you to easily stream data in and out of the program. Now, let's see. Is this? All right, so let's, sitting here waiting for it to execute, and it apparently wasn't ready. All right, there we go. So again, purely from the output point of view, this looks exactly the same. But again, doing it just through concatenation doesn't get you additional features and functionality, especially when it comes to streaming things. So that's kind of the downside to this. A string stream can let us process large amounts of output and large amounts of input. We can read and store lots of information that we can process over the course of the program. By processing from a string, we actually don't need to use sentinel values, because we can just read the end of the file, and that will be the end of the string. So instead of telling someone to type in like -1 as like a phony number, we can just have a string with all of our data in it and just read it in directly. And when it runs out of data, it'll just stop. So here's an example of how we might use this. So we've got our usual headers. We're going to say cout, enter several integers on one line, and we're going to do a string that we're going to call input line. We're going to do a getLine function using cin and the input line. And remember, getLine is what's going to let us have spaces in our string. And because if we just do cins, it's going to stop when it hits spaces and declare that to be the end of the string, which is not what we want it to do. We're then going to do a string stream. We're going to take string inputs and put in the input line there. We're going to have an integer called value. And so while we are not at string input end of file, we're going to read the string input value and then just do a cout of you entered value and just output the values that we obtained. So let's see what this program looks like. All right, so enter several integers. Let's do 2, 4, 6, 0, 1, 9, 0, 2, 1, 0. You entered 2, 4, 6, 0, 1, 9, 0, 2, 1, 0. All right, so there you go. So there you have it. So streaming operators, as we've seen, they're very versatile and they're very good at moving data back and forth. And we've actually seen 3 different executions or applications of the concept of streaming. We've seen input-output streams with C in and C out, console in, console out. We've seen file streams with files such as .dat or .txt files. And we have also seen string streams where we simply store as strings in the compiler's memory whatever data it is we want to use over the course of our program. And so this concludes this week's topic on various kinds of streaming.